What is up, my G's? It is MK Traxxas, and today we've got something fun. So, I've always wanted an airboat, but it's always been very unrealistic because how can a young child have an airboat? So, I looked at my 3D set Skippy boat, and well, I had an idea. Here's what I came up with. So, after loads of thinking and planning, I came up with an idea to take my spare plane motor or quad motor, whatever it's called, and stick it on the back. I also have some spare propellers, like these really big plane propellers that we can mount. Check that out. So to do this, I'm gonna need some sort of mount so I can mount the engine or motor onto the back. Then I'm gonna need to do some measurement so that the propeller does not smack on this gold bit, because I think it's gonna be very easy to make that mistake. I show you there. Here's the motor and the propeller. See, it could be very easy to smack on that. So we're going to need to do that. Then once we have the mount for this one, I don't think that this engine is going to give us enough steering because I'm not actually going to use the motor in here. I'm just going to turn it like that, and then I'm going to hope it's going to turn around. So maybe we need to make some huge paddle that goes down here that attaches to the original motor holder. So yeah, I'll show you that now when I'm designing it. Here's my design for the motor mount that I'm of course going to print with PETG, so it's going to be very strong. Now we can start taking the boat apart. So first of all, we can take these off. I have to take nearly all of this off to run the new wires and see how they're going to go. Everything just comes out really easily. And there we go. That's it in pieces. Here you can see the inside of the boat. We've got the ESC, which is supposed to be glued on there. And we've got the receiver here and the ESC wires. Now I can just take all of these off and unplug them from the motor as well. Alright, that was a struggle. Anyways, we've got them off. And how much wire do we have here? We just run it through the original holes. Then we have, I'll show you here, more than enough wire. See, it's supposed to reach to here. I did it. I ran the wires all the way around here, all the way to the back, out the back, and to the motor. Now the motor is gonna fit perfectly like that, and we can zip tie them to the frame here. So perfect. Now we can take off this motor because we're not gonna need it. I think it should be just one screw. So there was actually no other screw. I was just completely unscrewing the wrong stuff. We were just all holding on one screw here. And anyway, we've got it off, and looks very easy to put our new one on. So I'm gonna go try and design this, and I'll tell you when I'm done. Okay, all of that's printing. This one's lined up. In the printer we have another bit I need to mount it. Yeah, I'll show you putting it together soon. The part that is holding the motor has finished printing and it's perfect. So we need to get these bits off now. But it's very simple, it's just two screws at the bottom. I think this is gonna be perfect. It's the perfect size. We just need to get rid of this little nipple here, so let's go do that. Now, that would be everything that we need for now. So we can screw this on, and we can screw that on onto the top. We have our M4 screws, You have to screw them in there. It's a tight fit, but that's what we want. It's going to be perfect. There's one. And now the second one. And then an M4 lock now at the end. Then we can finally screw the motor on. It's gonna look awesome. And voila! The motor is installed. I really like how this looks because it's actually like really professional. Like this is how it would actually look, I think. And I really like it. I'll show you it with the propeller. Everything fits perfect. The propeller size is perfect. It's just a very good project so far. Now, for the steering, our steering system is made up of two main parts. One of them is this. This is what will go on the back here. So it's going to hold the servo horn, and we're going to mount the big paddle to this. The paddle is still printing. I'll show you that when it's done. Anyway, now we can install this part. As you saw earlier, this part is just holding on two screws. It's very simple to get on. About a half an hour later, I've got the first piece done. And whoops, also this huge bit has finished printing. Move this back a little bit. Look how huge this is. Now, I don't know if it's too big or not, so I'm gonna print another one to test. But it looks crazy. And the whole thing holding on two screws means that it's very hot swappable. So I can just swap it at any moment. I am now in the garage to drill some holes right there so we can put the cables through. Also, it started raining. I don't know how bad the sound quality is going to be, but it is raining. Now, so we have the wires done. They look very good like that. And if you're curious, this is the seat. And yes, it still fits here. So everything works perfecto. Now, my phone's about to die. I'm tired. I've still got a design. So I'll see you tomorrow. It is the early morning of day 2. My voice is destroyed, but we've got to get this boat finished. So what have we left to do? Install the propeller properly with Loctite and fit the interior. So I'm going to start off with the interior. First piece of the interior going in. Cables are in the way. There we go. And then we can take our trim pieces. There we go. Now we can properly mount the propeller. So first of all, I have to unscrew the existing one. Here we go. Perfect. Now we can put on our self-tightening bolt. That isn't going anywhere. And now we can put on this end cap. After spending some time installing the end cap properly, I think it looked very good, so I proceeded to make it a montage for you. It looks sick, doesn't it? Anyway, I've also printed this. So we're gonna put this one on first because I think this one is way too big and it's just gonna catch so much water and it's gonna fly over. So this one's gonna be better. But we'll take this one and test it. Once I installed the upgraded one, I proceeded to travel to my local park and have a very long walk to the water. Once we arrived, I shoved in the battery and we were ready to go. It worked!
It worked. See.
And it turns.
And it's quiet. Wow.
Something happened. No power. We then figured out that was actually just the motor nut coming undone and the propeller was just spinning loosely. So we tightened that.
Kuźwa.